Okay, today we're going to do some drills for your Wu Sao and your Man Sao. So to get started, stand in your basic stance. I'm going to do this a little bit shifted from the side so you can see better. And from here we're just going to practice our Wu Sao. So I throw my arm forward like this. Okay, the important thing is here, you end up in the position that you have here in Sao and Man Sao. Yeah? This position. So Wu Sao position. You can start, for example, like this. Palm faces upwards by your shoulder, and then you throw the elbow forward, always the elbow. Yeah? And you end in this position. Now what I want you to see from the side, when I do it, is how far away from my body my Wu Sao is. My Wu is not back here, okay? Because the Wu Sao, the idea is energy is coming towards me and I'm throwing energy against that to knock that out of the way, okay? If I held my hand here and energy is coming in, that's gonna blow my Wu Sao away. That's not practical, yeah? So when you do it, make sure that you end up in the right position. Make sure that you do it from your elbow. And also make sure that there's a rotation here in the lower arm. And this is the same rotation that you know from the last motions of Sao and Man Sao. This rotation right here. You also see when you do the Wu Sao in the first section, first part of Sao and Man Sao, you also see this rotation here in the Yun Sao, which is a rotation in the same direction. Okay? So next we're going to do it with a shift. So I'll do it from the front first. So we're going to do this. I'm just going to park the other arm here. Always with the shift. The rotation of the hip is going to play with the rotation of the forearm. And again here I'm pushing the elbow forwards to make this happen. So this is going to be a lot more powerful than if I just did it standing. Again, observe that when I perform this Wu, when I shift back, this is exactly the position that I end up in. Okay, the basic position here from Sao and Man Sao. And you need this Wu, for example, if I'm standing like this and you pull my arm down, it's going to have, the reaction is going to be my Wu is going to come up here. Okay, so having done this Wu Sao with the shifting, I already said normally you'd have the Bong with it. So let's do it with the Bong. We do a Bong Sao with a Wu Sao. And now we want to do a Bong on the other side. So the way this works is that you first drop your elbow, and again you go to a Wu Sao position here, drop the elbow, then you start rotating, and the other Bong comes up. Drop the elbow, rotate, and the other Bong. Drop the elbow, rotate. What you should see here is, look at how far away the wrist of my Bong is. And now when I come back to a Wu, already that shortens my arm. So my leverage gets better. It gets harder to manipulate my arm. Okay, well when you train this, make sure that when I do my Bong here, when I take the Bong away, again I'm right at this position. Okay? So the Wu doesn't move sideways here. Here's the Wu. It just withdraws a little bit, while always pushing forwards, okay? And we have this also in the beginning of Sao and Man Sao. Here's my Wu is pushing forwards, and the elbow is coming towards the body. But it's never that the hand goes back. This is exactly the opposite of what I want to do with Wu. Wu is breaking the energy that comes towards me, splitting it, knocking it to the side. Especially if you turn with that, that's going to knock the energy out over there. And so this shortening of the arm, the shortening of the front arm is the same as you have in a basic punch. Full extension, and then the arm snaps back into this Mu Sau position. Okay? So now that we've practiced these Bong Wu changes, let's look at a different application of this Wu Sao. And that is, if you think that you want to perform a low strike, so targeting the body, you would do it like this. Practice it like this. Observe my Wu staying here all the time. And my arm, my body is working. If you see it from the side, you should be able to see quite well that I'm pushing forward here with the arm. Okay? And here the idea is that I hit potentially under the opponent's arm. So I need my Wu here to protect me. And you can also use this drill, you do this, to then get a good idea of what the Bong Sao is for, because at sometimes something will come over this arm, and in this case I need to then Bong Sao. Huh? Okay, so we've looked at two motions where my Wu is in this position from the beginning, from Sao and Man Sao, for the Bong Sao, with a low punch. Yeah? But there's also a Wu Sao that is not on this position. Okay, so when you think of Lap Sao, for example, so Lap Sao we stand like this. Here I have this Wu Sao that we just talked about. But now when I continue the Lap Sao, my hand, the jut hand, ends up out here. It's not in this position anymore, it's here. Okay? So you can see the other Wu position, which is on the side of my body, not on the center anymore. Okay, let's look at some examples where we can find this, let's call it outside Wu Sao position. So one very simple one is that I use my palm strike, could also be a punch, but from the Sao and Man Sao, no? This one comes from the outside, goes to the center. When I use this palm strike, I'm always coming above the opponent's arms. And so I don't have the Wu here, but I have it over here. If you think that there's an arm coming here, this will protect me much better from the other arm than if I had my Wu here. Okay, so we go like this. And if this palm strike with the Wu seems a bit strange to you, you can also, of course, do it with a punch. Yeah? So Wing Tsun doesn't just punch like this from the center, we also can come from the outside. Yeah? My hand is here, I'll punch directly like in Chum Kiu. Yeah? But when I do that, this Wu has to cover that side. Yeah? If I punch from the outside, my hand is here, that's not going to help me very much. So then another technique that normally goes with the outside Wu Sao is the jump Sao. Because again, I'm using the jump to come over the opponent's arm. Yeah? So if punch is coming in here low, I use Wu Sao, jump Sao for the punch. That's now under this arm, under the elbow. My other hand is ready here for the other guy's other arm. Yeah? Here wouldn't help me any very much the Wu Sao. Yeah? And we can play, for example, this. We'll do it from the side maybe a little bit. We can play it like we played in Lap Sao, where I'm here. My opponent goes over there and he gives me a low punch, and I react by doing this. Yeah, you should be able to see, this is my jump, here's my Wu. Yeah? It's not on this position, not like with a Bong. If I step like this, here's the Bong, There's the Bong, but the jump goes with the Wu Sao on the outside position. Done these two Wu Saos, now we come to the Man Sao. So for the first drill, this is very basic stuff. You just stand like this, and from the outsides, from here, I do the same motion that I did with the Wu Sao. Same rotation in the arm, and there you have your basic Man Sao motion. From the outside to the center to this position. So we'll start doing with a shift. So it will look like this. Let's start with this position. I'm shifted here, and now I have this outside Wu becomes my Man Sao, and the Man Sao becomes the outside Wu Sao. Pay attention here that really both hands are just doing this. Both arms. Yeah? This Wu still pushing away, as is the Man. The Man is throwing something over there, Wu in the same direction. It's a very strong double technique, and you know this from when we step off the line like this. Yeah, here's my Wu Sao that now travels across my body to protect me the whole time, and at the same time my Man Sao takes the center position. And when I shift like this and play my Man Sao, that should look familiar to you from the wooden dummy form, but we can also identify kind of an inside Man Sao. So let's say I'm standing like this, so my hands come from this position, and now I shift and I replace my hand. So Man Sao is the front one, and Wu Sao is the back one. So if I shoot through here, this is also Man Sao. Okay? And really all this stuff relates back to our punch. So just as the punch can come from here or from here, yeah? The Man Sao is like the punch without stretching all the way. And that's also why when you do a Man Sao, especially with the outside Man, it opens up the way for a nice punching opportunity.